The Second Battle of Boulou, the 29th of April to the 1st of May 1794, saw the French army of the Eastern Pyrenees led by Jacques-François Dugommier attacking the joint Spanish-Portuguese army of Catalonia under Luis Fermín de Carvajal, Conde de la Union. The decisive French victory resulted in the French regaining nearly all the land they lost to the Kingdom of Spain in 1793. Le Boulou is on the modern A9 highway, 20 kilometers south of the department capital at Perpignan and 7 km north of Le Perthis on the France-Spain border. Background: 1793. The year 1793 was a difficult time for the poorly trained French forces defending Roussillon against the Spanish army of Captain General Antonio Ricardos. The siege of Bellegarde concluded in June with the French surrender of the Fort de Bellegarde, which dominated the key pass of Le Perthis through the Pyrenees. However, Ricardos was repelled in the Battle of Perpignan on 17 July. The French army revived again under General of Division Eustache Charles d'Aoust to deal their enemies a sharp reverse at the Battle of Pays-Restortis on 17 September. 5 days later, Ricardos defeated the French at the Battle of Truillas. Subsequently, the Spanish general fell back to the valley of the Tech River where he repulsed a series of French attempts to drive him back into Spain. D'Aoust tried and failed to oust the Spanish from Le Boulou on 3 October. In the Battle of the Tech from 13 to 15 October, Ricardos bloodily repulsed the attacks of General of Division Louis Marie Turreau. D'Aoust was defeated again in his 7 December attack on Ville-Longue-des-Monts. The Spanish seized the port of Color on 20 December. New commanders fresh from his victory at the siege of Toulon, General of Division Jacques-François Dugommier arrived to lead the army on 16 January 1794. He began a complete reorganization of the army, setting up supply depots, hospitals, and arsenals, and also improving roads. After getting reinforcements from the Toulon army, Dugommier's field army numbered 28,000. These troops were supported by 20,000 garrison troops and 9,000 green volunteers. He formed his field army into 3 infantry divisions under generals of division Dominique Catherine de Perignon, Pierre Augereau, and Pierre-François Sauret. There was a 2,500-strong cavalry division led by General of Division André de la Barre and a reserve headed by General of Brigade Claude Perrat. Victor. A report from 30 April 1794 listed Sauret's left division as having a strength of 7,362 infantry and 100 cavalry, and Victor's brigade having 2,669 infantry. Augereau's right division consisted of 2,039 infantry and 80 cavalry commanded by General of Brigade Guillaume Mirabel, 4,127 infantry led by General of Brigade Jean-Joseph Guilloux, and a 235-man detachment under Jacques-Laurent Gilly. Perignon directed brigades under Generals of Brigade Dominique Martin, Théodore Chabert, François Point, Louis Lemoine and Hyacinthe François-Joseph Despinoy, a detachment led by General of Brigade François Jean-Baptiste Quesnel. The detachment of the left, La Barre's mixed brigade, and an artillery reserve of 150 gunners. Martin led 3,091 infantry, Chabert 2,648, Point 2,774, Lemoine 3,257, Despiny 1,074 and Quesnel 550. La Barre commanded 1,357 infantry and 1,907 cavalry, while the detachment of the left numbered 1,994 foot soldiers. During the winter, Ricardos traveled to Madrid to plead for reinforcements. He died there of pneumonia on 13 March 1794. Ricardo's designated successor, Captain General Alejandro O'Reilly, died on 23 March before he could reach the front. In the interim, Lieutenant General Geronimo Durón Moctezuma, Marquis de las Amarillas, assumed leadership over the Army of Catalonia. Battle. Baiting the trap, de la Union deployed his 20,000-strong army to hold the Tec Valley, with defenses both north and south of the river. Lieutenant General Eugenio Navarro commanded the right flank division, whose positions included Color and Port Vendas on the coast. The 8,300-man Center Division of Lieutenant General de las Amarillas held strong points at Boulou, Montesquieu des Albes and the Camp of Trumpets. Lieutenant General Juan Miguel de Vives Eliu with 5,500 soldiers of the Left Division defended Sayret, where de la Union installed his headquarters. Lieutenant General John Forbes' Portuguese contingent deployed on the extreme left at Al-sur-Tech and Amélie-les-Bains-Palalda. Dugommier placed Augereau on his right flank with 6,400 infantry and 80 cavalry. Augereau's right brigade occupied Tayit, his center brigade Oms, and his left brigade Cairo. Sauret's division of 7,300 infantry and 100 hussars held the coastal sector on the left flank. Perignon's center division represented the main French striking force with 8,500 infantry and 1,300 cavalry, backed by 3 reserve brigades totaling 7,000 men. The French commander believed that the Spanish army's center of gravity was too far west and planned to exploit this weakness. He hoped to cross the Tech and roll up to the right flank of the Spanish center division. To make this task easier, he directed Augereau to demonstrate in front of Sayret and lure the Spanish into drawing more troops to their left flank. Perignon held his troops back from the river to hide the true French intentions. The main Spanish communications ran from Boulou through the pass of Le Perthis at 300 meters altitude near the Fort de Bellegarde. Dugommier wanted to force the army of Catalonia into a retreat over the much more difficult Col du Portet at 800 meters altitude, which was 4 kilometers to the southwest of Le Perthis. If he could achieve this, the Spanish might have to abandon their wagons, cannons, and supplies. In late April, Augereau built a redoubt at the Saint Ferréol Hermitage, north of Sayret. De la Union countered by constructing 2 redoubts of his own. On 27 April, Augereau probed the Spanish positions, then retired. The following day, Augereau captured one of the new Spanish redoubts, prompting the Spanish army commander to order 2,000 troops under the Prince of Montfort from his center to his left. On 29 April, de la Union launched 3,000 troops, including cavalry led by General Pedro Mendinueta y Musquiz, to attack Augereau on the north bank. Following his instructions, the French division commander fought a rearguard action, drawing the Spanish troops toward Oms. De la Union finally called off the attack, but he left Mendinueta's cavalry to observe Augereau. That night, the Spanish generals held a council of war. De la Union's chief of staff Tomás Morla saw through Augereau's actions and proposed that Navarro's division attack on the right while de Vives and de las Amarillas joined forces and attacked the French center near Le Boulou. The council voted to adopt this action, which would secure the supply road from Le Boulou to Bellegarde. As a precaution, the council decided to withdraw the army's trains by the road to Bellegarde. However, they decided there was plenty of time to issue orders the next morning, rather than that evening. French attack in the early hours of 30 April, Perignon's division crossed the Tech at the Bruille Ford, planning to climb the mountains behind the Spanish camps in order to take the defenses in the rear. Martin's left flank brigade marched past Saint-Gilles-Écoutenies des Fontaines and began ascending St. Christopher Peak. His men reached the hermitage where they emplaced 6 cannon and 13 howitzers to fire on the Spanish positions from the rear. Then part of his brigade advanced west to cut the road to Bellegarde. Chabert's brigade advanced on Villeneuve-les-Monts, while Point's right flank brigade began attacking the fortified camp at Montesquieu des Albes, defended by Colonel Francisco Javier Venegas. Labarre supported Point's troops, while Victor with a reserve brigade occupied Saint-Guy-Coutances to keep Navarro's division sending help to the Spanish center. 2 more reserve brigades under Lemoine attacked Trompets. While these battles were being fought in the center, Augereau retook Oms from Mendinueta on the French right flank and Sauret captured Argelès-sur-Mer from Navarro on the left. In order to give an impression of French superiority, Dugommier arrayed a large body of poorly trained volunteers near his headquarters at Banyuls-dels-Aspres. De la Union sent Montfortet with 2,800 infantry and 800 cavalry to reinforce the camp of Trompets, and Del Puerto with 2,000 more to help Venegas. But neither of these forces were able to halt the concentrated French offensive. On the 1st of May, seeing his defences fatally compromised, De la Union made preparations to retreat. Montfortet abandoned Trompets and withdrew to the south bank across a ford near Le Boulou. That day, the French assault overran the camp at Montesquieu des Albes and the Spanish retreated, taking the badly wounded Venegas with them. Labarre sent Quesnel with some cavalry along the south bank to cut off the Spanish retreat, but this effort failed. On the western flank, Augereau sent troops under Guillou and Mirabel to push Mendinueta's cavalry back to Sauret. Chased by Quesnel's cavalry, Montfortet retreated south on the road to Bellegarde, but at Les Clusses he ran into an ambush set by Martin's brigade. In a scene of chaos, a part of the Spanish wagon and artillery trains were wrecked or abandoned. The bulk of the Spanish army headed for Mauritius-las-Illes before climbing the steep road to the Col du Portet. After covering the withdrawal at Sauret, the Vives pulled out of the town and Augereau crossed the bridge to harass the Spanish retreat. The Portuguese division withdrew across a pass farther west. Results: the Spanish army suffered 2,000 killed and wounded. An additional 1,500 soldiers, 140 guns, and all of the army trains and baggage fell into French hands. French losses are given as 20 killed and 300 wounded. Historian Digby Smith stated, "The Spanish army never recovered from this setback." After Boulou, the only Spanish forts on French soil were Collaur and Bellegarde. The French captured the first on the 26th of May while Bellegarde held out until the 17th of September 1794.